Hello everybody, it's Bigsy People here again, and yeah, we're just going to continue the story, that's really it. What'd you expect? Okay, anyways, continue our story where we left off with Deku, I guess, at home. I had to rewatch my own video so I knew what the story was, and I think I cut it off at where Deku was at. But I think Deku's at house. And so Deku is, um, well, the next day, or actually the next week, after training for a second, goes back to UA and then, learns about the UA Sports Festival. Then he's told that he can't use his swords, so he asks if he can use a wooden sword, and they say okay. So Deku puts his blades in his locker and takes out his one wooden sword that he uses only for practicing. And so Deku places ropes the wooden sword around him and walks to the entrance, also changing into his UA outfit. And so he enters the running area. Obviously, he's gonna have like a really good time. I'm kidding. But then we start the thing with Deku jumping over and stepping directly on Shoto Todoroki's head, knowing dang well what he was gonna do, just smelling his intent. Then Deku jumps and then just starts zooming, like so fast some people can't even perceive how fast he's running. And it just kept speeding and speeding, and basically he gets first really quickly. Like no one could catch up to him, and every single obstacle that came his way, he just either diced it in half with a wooden sword, or just used his wooden sword to leap over everything and use the rope to bring the sword with him. And basically, he just sped straight through everything. So Deku wins the first round. Obviously, he gets the 10 million points, and everyone stares at him like they're gonna kill him. But of course, Deku's like, "Y'all try it. I cut you into a million pieces with just a wooden sword." And so, let's just say everyone on Deku's team joins his team again, and every single I can't remember at the moment. I cannot remember the team of. So at the moment, I cannot remember what Deku's teammate was, teams were, but they really don't matter right now, because Deku decides to just do the most coolest thing ever by stepping on someone's shoulders. The whole team squats. Then they leap Deku over to a different team, makes steals their point tag, then he leaps to a different person, steals their point tag, and if they try to get his points, he basically just unsheathes his blade and knocks their head in with his blade, dropping them out, disqualifying them. Then afterwards, he actually drops their points, so they're kind of useless afterwards. Oh, and then Deku just only collects one tag because that's all he wanted. And everyone tries to get his point thing, but they really just stand there while Deku just jumps over to them, knocks them, drops one of their teammates off the thing. Actually, breaking one of their legs. Okay, let's say spraining one of the legs. Okay, anyways, after all that explaining. Anyways, the round ends and Deku gets basically first. Okay, now we're on to the, the tournament kind of stuff. And then and then we just see Deku walking to the arena, fighting Shinso again. But before Shinso can even speak, Deku just blitzes him, knocks him straight out, and then Deku pushes him out. Hmm. Yeah, that's what they all want to do with him. And so Deku just leaves afterwards, like, you know, like in Baki, where like a one person is over dramatically, um, over dramatically piped up just to get one shotted by Baki, basically like that. Deku blitzed him, hit him with basically the shaft of his blade, and dropped Shinso in one hit. Then pushed him out. Then he just casually walks away. After, that, he has to fight. Then Deku has to fight Shoto Todoroki, and the fight goes pretty normal. Not normal, and never mind. So Todoroki sends an ice blast at Deku. Deku cuts it straight in half with a wooden sword, I mind you. Then Todoroki just keeps getting, his ice sliced until Deku's sword breaks, which makes Todoroki get overconfident, which Deku is waiting for. And so Deku runs towards him, Todoroki, thinking this is a last-ditch effort so he can win. That's a lie. So Todoroki sends an ice blast towards Deku until he sees the ice blast be cut in half. But he looks all over the place to see any hidden weapons, but he doesn't see any. That is until he goes like, Nani, and then he sees his hands like moving like a blade. Then Deku blitzes Todoroki, basically telling Todoroki he was toying with him. Then fake slashes him, like everyone thinks he cut him, but actually what he did was fake slash him, made him think he got slashed, and made everyone think he slashed him by putting his hand over him without making the cut known. Like what Baki Musashi Miyamoto does. And then Todoroki drops unconscious out of embarrassment, really. Then Deku is declared the winner, and Deku leaves, and he gets a new wooden sword, just to make it fair, I guess. And so then it's Baku versus Deku, and I think you know where this is going. Baku throws an explosion at Deku. Deku just blitzes him behind him, fake cuts his leg, so he almost drops to the ground on one knee, and then you know he gets his arm, he gets his entire chest cut in half, entire chest sliced, only to the skin though. Like Deku purposely makes it only so his hand only goes through his skin, so it only leave a scar. And so Deku spins his wooden sword in the air and slaps it towards Bakugo right into his forehead, knocking him straight out. And then Deku, after all that winning, he gets a medal for it and leaves. That's all. Deku gets his medal, doesn't even hugs All Might, and leaves. Goes back home and then learns about the whole one of his Ida having his brother, dead. Well, not dead, crippled, but he doesn't know Ida, so he's kind of not personally interested. But he's still pretty sad for him, so he sends his condolences over group chat. Everyone does, really. Until Todoroki hears that Stain will pay, and but then Ida immediately backtracked and said he meant that Pro Heroes would make him pay. Then Deku just immediately decides, yeah, that's suspicious. And so Deku takes out his, the people that invited him to his area, realizing one of the people that invited him was Endeavor. Mostly because, he beat his son. He wants to know how the frick a guy with a wooden sword beat his son. And so Endeavor goes with Deku goes with Endeavor only because he knows he has a mission there for patrolling to Hosu. So they're walking around, and then eventually the fire starts, and Deku just starts cutting all the Nomus in half, dropping all of them except one. And then he sees the flying Nomu flying away. So he chases after it, of course, jumping onto it and using his two swords to steer it, basically. And then Deku sees Ida about to get stabbed, so he just sends the Nomu straight into Stain, not knocking him out, but straight up breaking a couple of his ribs. Well, obviously, Deku leaps off, sheaths his blade, and lands. And then Deku pulls out one of his swords after putting one of them away. I'm kidding, he pulls both of them out. You're wondering, why did he sheath them just to pull them back out? I'm wondering the same thing. And so Deku challenges Stain to a sword fight. Of course, as soon as Stain's sword meets his Deku's sword, it shatters on impact. And then we see Stain stomach and body just open up with cuts. Like Sukuna's cleave? Basically like that. And Stain drops to the ground, out cold. The only reason he's alive is because of Shiril. Eventually, Endeavor shows up after Deku has made Stain into basically a coma. Then Mr. Oh, I don't want to see that. Anyways. After, after Hosu, that's really it. How much time I got on? I guess I can continue the story, because, Deku's just so strong. Until now, of course, because we're getting to, some hard opponents right now. You gotta fight Overhaul now. I think. Musashi Miyamoto. Okay. And so Deku, after defeating Stain, yeah, I know I'm kind of blanking here, but I think I remember there was an arc before the Overhaul arc, and I think it was it was the Forest arc. My brain just did not know what I was talking about, but the Forest arc. Let's talk about that. Anyways, after my ranting, Deku goes to his to the bus home. After that, the day after that, he goes on the bus goes to the thing. I know there's those teacher things with where they fight the teachers. Let's just say Deku wins, because, like, who is able to challenge this, bro? And of course, if Deku fought All Might in this timeline, he would just he'd basically look like he teleported to the exit. He wouldn't even consider his teammate, he'd just leave. After that, they make it to the bus stop, but of course Deku knows what's happening. So guess what Deku does? He cuts the bus in half, knowing that now Aizawa and the cat girl have to follow him. Which Aizawa sneers at Deku for his making it hard to teach a lesson, but he does scoff after realizing that it was clever of him to already deduce the fact that this was a trap. And so they all leap over the cliff and go fight all the rock monsters. Of course, the cat lady just can sit wherever she wants because, you know, she made the things. So after death of a bunch of rock creatures, they make to the camp, get dinner, go to sleep. Of course, Deku meant Koda, but, you know, no nut punch because all Baki characters that aren't punching bags are immune to the ball kick. Except Dopo. Yeah, I know. Dopo's the only character who actually is immune to ball busting. And so let's just say Deku's immune to ball punching. And so Koda gets scared and runs away. After. Okay, after. Oh, after. I'm trying to speak. Okay. He just goes to sleep, wakes back up, and then the next day happens where they all train. Of course, instead of the Catman training Deku in martial arts and stuff, it's just him meditating, really, because that's all they really know what to give him, considering how strong and, you know, powerful he is. They don't think they really need to train him that much, considering, like, calming down and not killing things that he perceives as dead. So, after Deku's meditation, they make the curry, and then after Deku notices that Koda's not there, he um, takes some curry and gives it to him. And they start talking for a bit, Koda being more open, because I wanted him to be more open in this timeline. Then after, you know, Muscle, huh? How was his name again? Holy shoot, I actually forgot the Muscle dude. Muscle Man? Muscle? Holy shoot. I forgot his name. So I need to know this guy's name. Muscular? Muscle? Muscular? 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 Muscular. I think that's his name. Muscular. Yeah, that's his name. Deku cuts all of his muscle off and one taps him with a 1-inch punch. And then Deku just puts both his blades away because he needs to use both. Carries Koda all the way to all the teachers. Gives both, uh, gives Koda to the cat ladies. And immediately just starts blitzing around. And then Deku starts blitzing. Deku just starts. Then Deku just starts running around, destroying all the League of Villains one by one. He even catches up to Toka before she can even stab any of the Ochako or Suyu. He basically behind one and punches her, breaking her spine, actually spraining it for a sec. That is until they all disappear somehow. So Deku jumps to the portal. Let's say in this compress hid the marbles from Deku, because Deku was just running around defeating all the League of Villains, not knowing what was happening. And so Deku jumps to the portal after Toka, and before Korogiri can even notice Deku, he moves so fast that he's already in the vents before Korogiri can even perceive Deku was even there. Then Musashi? Oh, and then Deku chills in the vent and waits for the pro heroes. Then after he sees All Might pop out of the thing, he, moves before anyone can perceive him, cleaving Korogiri straight in half, cutting his metal and his torso in half. But yeah, so Korogiri, well now it's Obduro, is now dead. Because, Deku deduced he was a Nomu, but, he didn't think there was a body in there. But instead of Deku mourning, he then just blitzes all the League of Villains, actually killing every single one of them. Yeah, I know. That's a bit early for all those characters to die. But come on, it's a reincarnation of Musashi Miyamoto. And I've heard a lot that he's killed a lot of people if they've threatened anything of his. That's what I've heard. And so Deku just kills all the League of Villains. And so before the pro heroes can tell him off, Deku puts his sheath away, is about to go and cut. But before he can go and cut Shigaraki's head off, he gets goo globbed through him, so Deku just cuts him anyways, without anything, but he just cuts through straight wood, with Bakugo doing the same, which makes everyone shocked, and then the building explodes. But of course, since Deku's a Baki character, that explosion didn't do a lick of damage on him. And so Deku looks into the sky, seeing All for One. And then All for One being shocked that all of his, new members are now freaking perished. And so All for One gets mad at Deku and decides to kill him. Or so he thinks. And then Deku actually parries that air blast, which surprises All for One, and All for One starts fighting Deku. Of course, All for One shooting all of his, spike things, air blast, speed blitzing, but of course it's not working against Deku because he can already speed blitz All for One in speed. Yeah, I remember that a character could break the sound barrier, and Baki, Musashi Miyamoto, has obviously been told that he's stronger than him, so guess what Bro can do? Break the sound barrier twice over. And that's what I'm doing right here, anyways. So before All for One can even react to Deku, he hears a loud crack on the ground. Then he sees, craters appearing everywhere across the ground. Then Deku goes behind All for One, cuts him in half, then kicks his chin, breaking off his breathing apparatus, kicking him so hard he actually goes to freaking orbit. But of course he comes right back down, healing after his, descent. And then before All for One came in react, Deku blitzes him and cuts his head off again, But before he can even regenerate his head, Deku breaks his sound barrier so many times that he actually starts floating while kicking off one's head around. Then while he cocks his leg back and kicks off one so hard, he actually gets sent to space. And of course, being in space, he basically becomes like cars and becomes like a stone because he doesn't know how to react to this and what quirk to use. So he just freaks out and uses the one thing he learns, remembered, and that was his quirk to regenerate to any atmosphere. And so he becomes a stone and flies into space, never to return. And then all for one's body disintegrates into dust because it can't attach to anything, into any intelligence. And then Deku breaks the sound barrier so many times that he actually makes a crack in the earth. I'm kidding. Like, he actually breaks a humongous crater in the ground. I'm kidding. It's not humongous. It's tiny. It's tiny. So much. And then before, and since Shigaraki is all alone, he gets captured, and so and Baku gets saved. You know what? Since we're already here, we'll just skip out a few days, and Deku gets Mirio ask if he wants to spar, and of course it just ends in Deku 1-inch punching Mirio, dropping him instantly. Then Mirio asks if he wants to join with Overhaul, I mean Tsunade, and then they go to Tsunade's place. Deku immediately takes the stamp before Tsunade could even stop his sentence. Then after Then when Midoriya and Deku and Mirio start walking, they meet Eri, and before All For One can even perceive to touch his glove, Deku cuts his head off without a second inch. That's what All For One thinks, Overhaul thinks, but what actually happened was Deku was holding Eri and sprinting away. But, he was still stabbed in an artery. So what Deku did was make All For One think he cut him by cut his throat thinking he died. But what actually happened is Deku shanked him in one of his arteries that he couldn't heal. That basically collapsed in on itself if Deku stabs it. And then All For One soon collapses and dies. Then Bro dies. Dunzo. And then Deku becomes Musashi Miyamoto, the pro hero. Yeah, the series only did 2 parts because that's how strong Deku was. With no quirk. I don't know, I really wanted to finish up the series. Right here. I don't know why. Well, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please, I'll hit the subscribe because I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers just because, why not? Okay, bye.